Welcome to the Smart Business Revolution.
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 You want a revolution?
You say you want a revolution?
Revolution. The revolution.
It's going on right now.
Welcome to The Revolution, the Smart Business Revolution podcast, where we ask today's most successful entrepreneurs to share the tools and strategies they use to build relationships and connections to grow their revenue. Now, your host for The Revolution, John Corcoran.
Hey, everybody. This is John Corcoran with Dr. Jeremy Wise, and this episode is a little bit different. This is a live interview that we recorded at the Global Leadership Conference from Entrepreneurs Organization, where some of the best entrepreneurs from around the globe gathered in Washington, D.C. to share ideas and to learn about entrepreneurship. And of course, this episode is brought to you by Rise 25, where we help B2B businesses to give to and to connect to their Dream 100 relationships and partnerships, helping you to run a podcast so that it generates a referral pipeline and ROI.
Yeah, I mean, John, after both of us have been podcasting for over a decade, the number one thing in our life is relationships. And we're always looking at ways to give to our best relationships. And we found no better way to do that over the past decade than to profile the people and companies we admire and shout from the rooftops what they're working on. And this interview is no different. So if you've thought about podcasting, you should go to rise25.com to learn more, or email us at support@rise25.com.
Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the interview.
Enjoy.
John Corcoran here. We are here at the Global Leadership Conference by EO, and this is brought to you by Rise 25. We are the easy button for B2B podcast and content marketing, and I'm here with Brad Stevens of Outsource Access. He's from Atlanta, former president of the EO Atlanta chapter as well.
Correct.
And tell us a little bit about Outsource Access and what you guys do.
So Outsource Access, we are a full-time virtual assistant company out of the Philippines. We provide full-time virtual staff for small to medium business owners doing operations, marketing, sales, finance. We're very custom for each business's situation. So in the times that we're in, we've grown to 400 people in about 2.5 years and serving all kinds of industries, very industry agnostic. It's more about the custom need for that client.
And it's kind of a classic case of you solved your own problem, right? You scratched your own itch. You had a previous business where you had staffing shortages. And so talk a little bit about that experience and how you first got into outsourced staffing.
Yeah, so my business prior to this, we actually manufactured and distributed teeth whitening products all over the world, in the dental industry, the beauty industry. And long story short, we had a product disaster happen. Cash got super tight. It was kind of my COVID back almost 10 years ago. And I had to figure out how to get lean and how to do things differently. And that's when I had heard about the whole outsourcing, gig economy, Tim Ferriss 4-hour work week. But I really had no choice but to become a student of it. And so I ended up building a real knowledge base of it. How does it work? And it kind of helped me save that company at the time. So when we exited out of that business, I had that knowledge set, and that's what got me excited about seeing this is a huge opportunity. Small to medium businesses really think it's out of touch for them, but teaching them how to embrace it, integrate it, and it's not about shipping jobs overseas. It's about augmenting your existing staff, your employees, to their highest and best use. So spoke on it, did a lot of consulting for years, and people were like, Brad, why don't you just launch your own company? And so I said, as an entrepreneur, you're right, I probably should. So I went to the Philippines, toured a bunch of facilities, chose the Philippines because English-speaking, Americanized culture, and I found a phenomenal management team, infrastructure. Actually, EO Philippines chapter was huge for me there to help find an EOS implementer. And so we've been off to the races since then, and we'll probably be hoped to 650 people by the end of this year.
That's incredible growth. And we were talking beforehand, you have a video company that is a client of yours that you were helping by giving them various different VAs. Take us through that process.
Yeah, our clients have kind of been, like I said, very industry agnostic. It's more about the mindset, and as you learn here in EO, it's about the mindset of business owners to do things differently, because every industry can use kind of what we do. In this one company, it was a smaller business size, 4 or 5 employees. And a husband and wife team, they hadn't taken a vacation in several years, right? They were doing a lot of the work themselves. They do video shoots for weddings and special events. And and got their very first VA with us. Kind of took the leap, saw me speak at an event, kind of went down that path, and the VA. And again, our model, it's not just doing one thing, bookkeeping or marketing. It's really bringing somebody to the table that's a fast learner, good communicator, and can take feedback. Because they had this woman start off doing client coordination, all the logistics of all their bookings and so forth. And she's doing all this from the Philippines, right? And then she started taking over marketing. Then she started taking bookkeeping. So she was wearing multiple hats and taking all this stuff off the load of this husband-wife team and their few employees. And then they saw the value of it, and then they added a second one. So our tagline is redefining how you scale, and it really is teaching small to medium business owners how to plug these resources in, almost like a full-time staff into their organization, and that can change, they grow. And on the flip side of that, our largest client has 85 VAs with us in the loan documentation processing, where we're doing a bunch of kind of routine types of tasks, and then everything in between where people have 1 to 5. So it's quite a range.
Yeah. Now we're here at Global Leadership Conference. How many of them have you been to before, and what brings you to come to GLC?
So yes, this will be my 10th year in EO coming up, and been a part of the EO Atlanta chapter, served on the board in multiple layers. Was president during the COVID year. There's a special place in heaven for those of us that served as presidents during the COVID year. I learned so much and grew so much as a leader, and that kind of leads into, and I'm actually a regional director now for the U.S. East region, representing 22 chapters and 2,000 members, over 2,000. I have 23 now. But point being is that I've grown, when you're a leader in your own organization, you got paycheck control, you got org chart control. When you're a leader in EO, which is a volunteer-based organization, you're having to lead leaders who are volunteering their time. So it pushes your level of leadership game up to another tier. And so being a leader in the organization is kind of taking me through that. And then this conference is one of the conferences that all the EOers come from all over the world, and just absolute Class A content. As we all know, as entrepreneurs, we've got to unplug out of the insanity of the fire drills day to day, and sitting in that room and listening to speakers that are just highly innovative thinking, makes you think about problems entirely differently than you would have otherwise. And then it's being around the people here. I mean, this is the next level. I mean, only 4% of businesses do over $1 million a year. That's only 4%, right? And so we're here among the people that are the top tier individuals. And you're the average, whoever the quote was, you're the average of the 5 people that you're around. Very much the case here. So we're all high-performing individuals, but being here, it just keeps my game at the right level because I'm inspired by everybody around me.
Well, I know you have to go off to another session, but where can people go to learn more about you and Outsource Access and contact you if they have questions?
Yeah, sure. outsourceaccess.com. Pretty straightforward. You can go there. Got a video that we actually kind of go through our whole process and take you behind the scenes in the Philippines on how we operate. And we actually won the Inc. Best in Business Award, a new award that they just released. We're the only outsourcing company to have won it. And we have a little bit about our story on that as well, because we're very big about impact and giving back in alignment with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So outsourceaccess.com. I do a lot of speaking. I've spoken to 100 plus organizations, bradstevenstraining.com. And we just launched, you and I were talking about a program that is a platform and a service that helps drive connections within member-based organizations and conferences called oneononeconnections.com. It's kind of a software and a VA blended business. Started with a partner, Jason Rhodes. So oneononeconnections.com, you can check that out.
John Corcoran here with Brad Stevens of Outsource Access at Global Leadership Conference. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for listening to the Smart Business Revolution podcast with John Corcoran. Find out more at smartbusinessrevolution.com. And while you're there, sign up for our email list and join the revolution. Revolution. And be listening for the next episode of the Smart Business Revolution podcast.